next batch of items right here was just a bunch of stuff that he had laying on the bench that, you know, was up for grabs. And when we ended up making the deal where I bought everything, of course I ended up getting this stuff too. Initially I had expressed very little interest in these items because of the fact that I have so many now, but what we've got are lots of taps. It's a 3/4 inch 10 set. So what we've got, the reason why we got a set of 3 is because these are all 3/4 inch 10 taps, but you see that one there, because of the way it's made, that would be your starting tap. Makes it easy to start. This one in the middle, notice it has threads right all the way down to the edge. So this is probably a bottoming tap. And I honestly don't know what number 3 does. There's some brand new dies. 13/16 OD. 3/48 round die. That's interesting. There's another die there. There's another nice set. Well, there must have been a label here that said what these were. These just say Vermont on them, so I'm not sure what company that might be. I doubt that's Vermont American. But anyways, it's a 3/4 inch set there. 14. 3/4 14, so that's fine thread. It's funny, it doesn't look fine, but in this size, that's considered fine thread. And we got, you know, more. These are all brand new taps. These 2 right here, I believe these are called bridge reamers. These are big tapered reamers. Okay, that's a straight fluted one. And that's a spiral fluted one. And that's a straight fluted straight reamer. There's a really little itty bitty reamer. These little, really small little straight fluted ones are, I think the gunsmiths use a lot of those. There's a little cutter there. Another cutter. Some more high-speed steel end mills, just some random ones here. Not going to go through all of these. Oh, there's a nice, this is ball-nosed 2-flute ball single end mill. No brand name or anything on it, so probably just a import. And then the rest of what's in this box is some more random taps. But then all of these appear to be brand new, never used, high-speed steel end mills with very generic looking labels on them. So I'm thinking these are cheapy import. They actually don't even say anything about who makes them. And the majority of these are double-ended. So there's probably, I don't know, about a dozen or so of those in here. And a bunch of loose small taps. We'll sort those at some point. And let's see, we got a, okay, so Vermont Tap and Die Company. So that must be what those other Vermont taps, where they came from. So these are, well, there's 6 in here. Look at the date, 1996. Plug 7/16 20. So 6, what may very well be brand new old stock taps. This whole box of used taps. Now, get a load of this. Look at this plug tap right here. Thing's massive. This is a threaded, Threadit, all one word. This is a threaded 1.5" pipe tap, made in the USA. Now imagine what that tap costs to buy new today. And I bet you that the steel this is made out of is superior quality than a lot of the stuff you would buy today. It's another big one. Not quite as big, but so nice little find there. These are Hanson Whitney high-speed ground taps. So we got several boxes, well, four boxes. And let's see what's in here. Are these sets or are these just multiple? These are just, I think, just multiples of the same size. Although that one looks like it doesn't belong in there. This tray was clearly in the bottom under a bench somewhere, being forgotten about. Loaded with taps. Small Jacob's chuck, a 7B. That's a threaded back, so that would go on a drill, corded drill or something like that, probably. Looks like a drill bushing. Oh, wait a minute. That might be a holder for a tapping head. Another one there. A couple of tap wrenches with no handles. I wonder if the handles are in here somewhere. I'm not going to worry about it. That was just gravy on the biscuit. Here's a little pile of stuff. So this is... Alright, so this appears to be part of a stop for use on a vise. I don't remember exactly. This just looks eerily familiar to me. It's got this slot. It's got this slot in the end, but there doesn't appear to be any method for clamping anything in that slot. Well, anyways, so part of something larger. Oh, that's a nice little die holder right there. Yeah, let you put this right in your tailstock on your lathe. And it's nice that it's hollow, so you can thread right down a pretty long length of rod. Looks like something that came out of an indicator stand or something along that way. We'll get to that in a moment. This is, again, this is a bar to be clamped in, say, like a tool post, for instance. And then you would be able to mount an indicator off of this with something like this, for instance. Matter of fact, there we go. Perfect fit. Note the little threaded end. Probably custom made for the last words or an indicator of that style. Speaking of handy little indicator arms, this one, okay, it's a nice one. This has got the dovetail end on it, okay. So this could be used with your best tests, your interrapids, and many others. Some of these brand name ones of these can get pretty pricey. This one's a Federal, so this is a good, decent brand. This isn't a complete cheapie import. And then we got this here, which looks to me to be part of a spindle mounted indicator holder, sort of like an Indicol. All right, but unfortunately I don't believe I got anything else with this. I think this was just a stray piece, so the rest of this went missing somewhere, but I took it because I actually have an Indicol. I have another part of the Indicol that's missing stuff, and I had tried selling it to somebody who, thinking if I sold it cheap enough, maybe somebody would want to take the time and make another piece, and didn't have any success with that. So this is a genuine Indicol 178, which means that it's made for mounting on a 1 7/8 inch. So anyways, so this is what I've got. This clamps on the spindle, and then that gives you this rod here, and then all I had was this, which it's got this important piece here, which allows it to clamp onto either a dovetail on an indicator or a small rod on an indicator. All right, so that makes that pretty versatile, but the problem is what's missing is the intermediate clamping screw that would go here to make this a complete one. So we get the makings of something here. In an upcoming episode, I'm going to show where I actually score another one of these random pieces of an Indicall that actually looks almost like a genuine Indicall. So we'll have to see whether or not eventually we're going to make something out of this, and this thing's going to go away. I've got a complete one for myself, so I don't need to keep more of them. And this box here just marked TSS-36. I don't know what that means. That might just be a inventory number for a tool crib that this came out of. What's in here is a nice little spacer set, precision spacer set. Precision, you know, in the loosest sense of the term. This is import. But basically, these are like gauge blocks, but they are all threaded, okay? Well, maybe not all of them. I'm sure maybe the smallest ones are not. Like these thin ones here. No, they're all, every single one of these is threaded. So the idea is with these that you could take, like, say this size here and then add one of these discs to it as necessary to basically create, and then put one of these Allen screws in, or these socket, they're actually not Allen screws because you don't want the head sticking up, but that would recess down in there and screw in, put them together and create whatever size gauge block you want. I have more than one of these, so I'll have to make a decision on those and send something down the road. This is nice. This is a, well, yes and no nice. So what this is, it's another mag base. The fact that it has no markings on it whatsoever and has this very generic looking blue on-off switch is the dead giveaway that this is Chinesium. What's nice about it is, even though it's a cheapo Chinesey, it's a complete rip-off of the Noga. And so, like the Noga, one knob loosened allows complete articulating movement. This loosening this one knob loosens this socket for swiveling, loosens this pivot point, loosens this socket for swiveling. So that gives you a really wide array of range. This right here, which I'm going to take off, is not part of this. This actually was something else. So this is basically it. This is what you would have gotten when you bought this. So we tighten up the knob and it actually works pretty well. Nice and rigid. This has got the, also has the Noga style indicator clamp. So what this does for you is this gives you a couple of different sized holes for different indicators. So I could put maybe a drop indicator in this larger one. There's even a removable bushing in there to change the size of that hole. And then on the end we've got the dovetail mount, so we can mount an indicator that has a dovetail on it. And then this right here, this is the clamp, okay, to close up on these holes and the dovetail. But this is actually a fine adjustment. So what this does is this actually allows this part right here to nod a very slight amount. So this is your fine dial-in adjustment once you get the rough coarse adjustment done. So not bad. I have a Noga almost identical to this, so probably gonna end up selling that one. So just for giggles, I grabbed my old Noga, and it's pretty obvious who they were copying when they made this cheap Chinese one. So this clearly came off of another indicator stand, because it wouldn't make sense. This has got the dovetail clamp and the rod clamp on the end here, so it's pretty redundant. So it wouldn't make sense for this to be part of that stand that I just looked at. This is the only item I bought that wasn't on the bench. He had shown me a pile of other stuff in case I might be interested in, and the majority of it was wrenches and mechanics tools that I couldn't use, but I spotted this, and I asked him whether or not he had the vise this went to, and he said no. But I looked at it and, you know, deduced that it most likely is a handle for a Kurt style or Kurt vise, you know, or an import rip-off of a Kurt. Appears to be chrome plated. I knew this wasn't going to change the deal much, so I had him throw this in. Alright, we're coming down the stretch here, so I'm going to have to get some of this stuff out of the way. Only 6 items left to go, and here's the next 2. And we've got something old and something new. Start with the new first here. This is again, CDCO Machinery Corporation. Apparently is where this was purchased out of. And what it is it's a dial caliper. It says shock proof and nothing else on it, which is a dead giveaway that it is Chinesium. It appears to be in really good shape. It says stainless hardened. It's not engraved. It actually is surprisingly quiet and smooth. A lot more so than I would expect from a Chinese made piece. What's nice about it is it's a 12-inch. Okay, so if you go to buy a 12-inch and stare it, which I was lucky enough to find one at a flea market, but if you wanted to buy a new one of these and stare it, it's quite pricey. So this is going to be a nice addition to somebody who is not hung up on the fact that it is an import. Not going to break the bank. And now the old, we have Brown and Sharp Manufacturing. Nice big case, right? And what we have in here is an early height gauge. Okay, so this is really clean for the age. I can't get over the condition of this thing. It's a beauty. It almost has a look of like chrome plating on the base. The bottom still has a mirror-like polish to it. So this is a Brown and Sharp 585. In addition to this nice height gauge, help if I put it in correctly, there are, what we have in here are some accessories. We have the clamp, we have a straight scriber, we have a drop leg scriber, and then interestingly enough, there appears to be some accessories in here that I don't think are part of this set at all. Alright, so this is a 585C, so this is the genuine drop leg scriber that belongs with this. That's really nice that that's in there. This is an unmarked straight scriber, so this might even have been something that was shop made, I don't know. I can't tell whether or not this is the original clamp or not. It does say patent pending on it and nothing else. So I would say that there's a good, strong possibility that this is an original clamp. This is the stuff I don't think belongs in here. This, I believe, is an attachment for a bevel protractor, or it might go on a combination square. It appears to be unmarked. Luckily, this is apparently, by the looks of it, the original correct clamp. Oh, and then this was in there also. And this, to me, looks like it's for putting 2 rods together on either, you know, a surface gauge or maybe a beam for a trammel. Something like that. Yeah, absolutely 0 markings on it, so we may never identify that. Good possibility it's Starrett or Brown and Sharp, though.